There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues.
That was Sumner County Sheriff's deputies Eric Craddock and Susan Hyland of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She was the second person, obviously, at a press conference in the months after Sebastian was reported missing. About the same time, Deputy Craddock spoke with reporter Nick Barris from WTVF in Nashville about whether or not they'd cleared anybody from the immediate family as being a suspect in this case. Take a listen.
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
That was in April of 2024, a little more than a month into the search for Sebastian, and the official word from police was that nobody's been cleared, but still there's no evidence of foul play, yet one would think that foul play absolutely is involved here. And that brings us to our next question. What is the current status of this investigation so many months after Sebastian Rogers first went missing? We still have with us Dog the Bounty Hunter and his lawyer to keep him in check, Joe Lesniak. Dog, you're in Tennessee. What's going on? Is there anything you can share with us in terms of new developments in your investigation?
Officers, you know, I respect law enforcement so much, and they were saying that way back then that they had no leads. Okay, nobody should be charged or blah blah blah. But now, what about now? What about today? What about last week? I think you guys need to do interviews now. Update everybody. What about right now after all these things have come forward? And a lot of people online, whatever, are saying, Dog, what gives you the right? What gives you the right? You're a bounty hunter. What gives you the right? Well, what gives me the right is Tennessee has one of the greatest of all time laws. It's called the Citizen's Right to Arrest Law. You talk about booting a door in and going in and grabbing them. I can do that. I'm a citizen. Whether I'm Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dwayne Lee Chapman, or I have the right as a citizen of the United States of America to put in custody and take out the person that hurt or whatever happened to little Sebastian.
So, are you onto something?
Yes, sir.
Can you share?
Well, no, because they'll run. I know who the weakest link is. You get in Tennessee, brother, it's the death penalty. That is the death penalty. Would they rather go to lethal injection, or would they rather be paroled in 20 years or something? They still would have time to, live a life. So that Tennessee carries the death penalty.
Let me get this straight. You're on to a lead. You're there in Tennessee. You're actively pursuing it. And
yes, sir.
Now, I get that you have the right to move forward with what you believe is possibly detaining an individual or two, or I don't know any details because you're being cagey, but do you have to alert law enforcement before you make any sort of a move to let everybody know, hey, I'm here and here's what I'm doing?
No, sir. I don't have to alert no one. I cannot transport. I can arrest, cuff, and then the cops come or whoever to read that person their rights and transport them to jail. I can do everything but read them their rights or transport. But under the law, the United States of America, I can arrest.
Give us a little hint, like Did you
I get,
like? Is this someone who has always been part of the landscape, or is this something new? And don't jump in, Joe, and have
Okay.
him stop.
Hey, yeah. Well,
let
I
me
have to jump in and have him stop. Dwayne, a dog, you can't, yes, Ted, both of them are possibly right. So good questions, but yes. So yeah, there's a private investigator also involved that we need to keep secure as well. So I know you're looking for information, but we got to be careful how far we go.
Talk about then. All right, we're going to let this play out, and hopefully we'll be one of your first calls when you make a break in this case. We're all hoping that, because that's what everybody's hoping for. In fact,
well, I carry a film crew with me everywhere I go, brother.
yes, the reward up to $170K, $175,000. That's a lot of money. There seems to be a lot of interest in this country still in finding Sebastian, which is fantastic. Can you talk about the people that you have behind you, Dog, that are helping to support your investigation?
Well, there's several, many, and I can't name their names, but it's all, it's not like we're preaching in a church and taking offering, but there are a lot of people that have pledged their money to whoever, it's kind of tricky about rewards, okay? We want what happened to Sebastian. So the reward goes to whoever can tell us where Sebastian is and or what happened to him. And Joe, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but brother, since you've heard all this and you guys are good at Court TV, and who do you think did it?
Joe won't let me answer, so I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Attorney Ted, go ahead.
Yeah, gentlemen, thank you for all you're doing, and because the goal is here to find this young man.